Happy Halloween Homebrew Wednesday, everyone. Tonight I don't have that much to talk about, but I've been doing a bit of shopping, so got myself an Erlenmeyer flask so I can mix yeast starters and stuff on the stove. I've also got some Star San on order, but I think that'll probably save me a load of time, make the whole process a lot easier. But having done that, I then thought, what can I do to make the whole process a lot more time consuming and harder? I know, what about all grain? So I actually bought a cool box on eBay today, and it's kind of some guy was halfway through bodging it into a mash tun. So I'm going to complete that job. Once I've got that, then I'll have a mash tun. Obviously I need a boiler then. Then I'll be there. I'll be on all grain. So what made me make that decision? Well, to be honest, I'm aware of all the arguments about having control over the recipe and also just not having extract twang and you know, just tasting nicer. But actually, what I didn't realise was the cost difference. So I did some workings this evening on actually how much it costs. I started working through it in my head a couple of days ago when I started looking into the cost, and I saw a couple of people mentioning how kind of cheap it is to do all grain. So yeah, I was aware of the fact that there's a trade-off between the quality of the beer and all of that, and the amount of effort you have to put in. But I also wasn't sure. I wasn't aware of how cheap it was. So I put a little spreadsheet together showing the difference in the costs of an average recipe or a specific recipe. So yeah, some more equipment bought. I also bought that online. Brew Your Own British Real Ale, Biobra by Graham Wheeler. So more of a recipe book. I've only actually got one homebrew book at the moment, which is How to Brew by John Palmer, which is brilliant, sort of for the process and everything. But he doesn't do that many recipes in there, and a lot of them are kind of American recipes. And I wanted something with, you know, more of a recipe book, something that I could maybe get the ingredients easier from. So obviously English, British type hops and that sort of thing in here. Although maybe not all. I haven't actually read it yet. And I was also conscious of the fact that when I get things like hops, I want to be able to do kind of multiple recipes with the same hops, to actually use them up before they go stale and everything. So yeah, what I was going to do was make my first extract beer out of this, and I may still do that. I probably will still do that, in fact, because I don't have all the equipment for all grain. But I'm going to move reasonably swiftly onto all grain. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Really excited. Also, just got my summer ale here. Don't usually use these plastic bottles, but it was all I had in the house at the time. And yeah, that's a hell of a lot of headspace. This was literally the last bit of beer to be bottled out of the brew length, so obviously I would have bottled it up to about there, but that was all it was. This is about 5 or 6 weeks old, 5.5 weeks old now. Let's give that a pour. I just tried my porter for the first time. That's 3.5 weeks old, and it was really, really nice. Quite sweet, but a nice kind of residual bitterness to it, but really, really tasty. Not so much extract twang as I sometimes get in my beers. Really clean taste, which I was really happy with. So yeah. Nice amount of carbonation there. Lovely head. Cheers. Nice and hoppy. I've done a separate review of that, which I haven't actually posted yet, but I will do. Really hoppy, quite bitter, surprisingly. Going to be a summer ale, not an IPA, but there you go. What else have I been doing? I tried my cider for the first time, my first hard apple cider or turbo cider, and it was actually really nice. And it's cleared up beautifully. Really, really sour. Really sour. Sour is the first word that pops into my mind when I describe it. Bit harsh, sour, astringent, ascorbic, acidic, all those words. So what I did is I just started pouring it over apple juice. Served it about maybe 1 part apple juice to 3 or 4 parts cider. Just gave it that bit of sweetness. Beautiful, really beautiful. My girlfriend's sisters also offered me some apples off her apple tree in the back garden, which apparently is currently fully laden with apples. So I'm going over the weekend to stock up on those and make myself a bit of proper cider, really. I don't have a press, but I'm planning to freeze it, defrost and crush the apples, and then ferment it on the fruit itself as a first step. So yeah, that's a new thing for me, rather than just using apple juice from the shops. What else? Yeah, I've just been looking at hops on the internet, actually, because I've never even done an extract before. Never had to buy hops, so I was just looking at them with a view to, you know, what kind of thing do you need to take into consideration when buying hops? I know the principles behind them, in terms of you got your bittering, your all-purpose, and your aroma hops, but I wasn't aware of more of the procedural type stuff in terms of what can you actually buy. So when that obviously makes sense, it's logical, but it depends when the harvest comes out. So 2012 harvest is just about to come out now. But I've been looking at hops that there's one website that is called the Worcester Hop Shop. It does hops from the 2010-11 season, which what is soon to be kind of 2 seasons out of date. So relatively old, but if they're vacuum packed in the old, foil kind of light repellent, air repellent, if you know what I mean, packets. So they should be pretty good for a while, but I'm not really sure. So I don't know if they're just cheap because they're slightly older, or what. They're like £3 maximum for a packet, I think, for 100 grams, that is, and some of them were £2.20 or something for 100 grams. So thinking about using those, or I might just spend a bit more money, £5 for 100 grams. Over 40 pints, that's not a lot of difference, and it's probably worth going through a bit more freshness. Cheers. I just watched a video from one of my subscriptions, Harry Brew 69. He's a bit of a daft aper, a bit of a nutter, to be honest, but he's really funny. Check his videos out. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, number 4. See you next time.